Ethan locks the gym under Miami's fading sun, his pulse quickening at Laura's text. Caleb's joining us for dinner. Her son, a stranger at 21, carries a quiet intensity that unsettles Ethan. At the table, Caleb's sharp gaze meets his, words about art sparking a connection neither dares name. Laura's laughter fills the silence, but Ethan feels a pull, dangerous, unspoken, drawing him toward a truth he's not ready to face. Ethan, 32, weaves through Miami's evening traffic, the hum of the city a faint distraction from the knot in his chest. Laura, his wife of 2 years, has been pushing for Caleb to reconnect with her, after years of distance following her divorce. Ethan's never met him, but Laura's stories paint Caleb as a loner, buried in his art and struggling to find his place. The idea of meeting him stirs something in Ethan, curiosity maybe, or unease. He shakes it off, focusing on the road. At home, Laura greets him with a quick kiss, her energy bright as she sets the table. "Caleb's on his way," she says, her voice tinged with hope. "He's been so distant. Maybe you can reach him, Ethan. He needs someone steady." Ethan nods, but her words land heavily. He's a fitness coach, used to motivating clients, not navigating family dynamics. Still, he wants to be the anchor Laura needs. The doorbell chimes, and Caleb steps in, his presence quiet but deliberate. He's tall, lanky, with a guarded posture that makes him seem smaller than he is. His eyes, sharp and searching, meet Ethan's for a fleeting moment before dropping to the floor. "Hey," Caleb mutters, sliding into a chair. Laura beams, serving plates of grilled chicken and vegetables, her chatter filling the air. Ethan watches Caleb, who picks at his food, answering Laura's questions with short, careful words. The conversation turns to Caleb's art, a passion Laura mentions proudly. "He's been working on this digital piece," she says. "Tell Ethan about it, Caleb." Caleb hesitates, then speaks, his voice low but clear. "It's about identity," he says. "Trying to figure out who you are when the world keeps telling you who to be." His words hit Ethan harder than expected. He spent years burying his own questions about himself, hiding behind routines and a life that feels safe but incomplete. Ethan leans forward, genuinely curious. "What's the piece look like?" he asks. Caleb's eyes flick up, surprised by the interest. "It's abstract," he says. "Shapes that don't fit together, but they're trying to, like they're fighting to belong." There's a rawness in his tone, a vulnerability that makes Ethan's throat tighten. He nods, not trusting himself to speak. Laura smiles, oblivious to the undercurrent between them. As dinner winds down, Caleb lingers, helping clear dishes. Their hands brush as they reach for the same plate, and Ethan feels a jolt, brief, electric, wrong. He pulls back, busying himself with the sink. Caleb stays quiet, but Ethan catches him watching, his gaze lingering a moment too long. "Thanks for dinner," Caleb says before leaving, his voice softer now. Ethan nods, his heart pounding. Alone with Laura later, Ethan tries to focus on her stories about work, but his mind keeps drifting to Caleb's words, his intensity, the way their eyes locked. He tells himself it's nothing, just a kid needing guidance. But as he lies awake that night, the memory of Caleb's gaze burns, stirring feelings Ethan's fought to bury for years. He knows he's standing on the edge of something dangerous, and the pull is stronger than he expected. Caleb's visits become a rhythm in Ethan's life, each one tightening the knot of tension in his chest. Laura insists on weekly dinners, her hope for family unity blinding her to the growing unease between Ethan and her son. Caleb, 21, arrives quietly, his presence a mix of defiance and hesitation. Ethan, 32, feels the weight of his gaze, those sharp eyes that seem to see through him, stirring something he's tried to ignore for years. At the next dinner, Caleb speaks more, drawn out by Laura's gentle prodding. He talks about his art, his voice gaining strength as he describes a new project. A digital canvas of fractured lines, each fighting to connect. "It's about being stuck," he says, glancing at Ethan. "Wanting to be seen but scared of what that means." Ethan nods, his throat tight. The words echo his own buried fears, the parts of himself he's locked away to build a life with Laura. After dinner, Caleb lingers, helping Ethan stack dishes. Their fingers brush again, a fleeting contact that sends a spark through Ethan. He steps back, focusing on the task, but Caleb's quiet presence fills the silence. "You get it, don't you?" Caleb asks suddenly, his voice low. "What it's like to hide." Ethan freezes, caught off guard. "I'm just trying to be there for you," he says, dodging the truth. Caleb's eyes search his, unconvinced, before he nods and leaves. The next week, Caleb shows up unannounced, sketchbook in hand. Laura's at a work event, leaving Ethan alone to face him. "Thought I'd show you the piece," Caleb says, his tone casual but deliberate. They sit close, Caleb's drawings vivid on the page, jagged shapes struggling to align. Ethan feels the air shift, charged with unspoken questions. "It's powerful," he says, his voice steady despite the racing of his heart. Caleb's hand hovers near his, hesitant, then pulls back. "You ever feel like you're pretending?" Caleb asks, his voice barely above a whisper. Ethan's breath catches. He wants to lie, to say he's content, but Caleb's honesty disarms him. "Sometimes," he admits. "But you keep going. You build something solid." Caleb shakes his head. "I don't want to build a lie." The words hang between them, raw and heavy. Ethan wants to reach out, to offer comfort, but he knows it's a line he can't cross. As Caleb leaves, his parting glance lingers, a silent plea for understanding. Ethan stands alone, the weight of their conversation pressing down. He tells himself he's just a mentor, a friend, but the truth claws at him. His feelings for Caleb are growing, threatening to unravel the life he's built. Laura's trust, their marriage, Caleb's vulnerability, everything is at stake, and Ethan knows he's running out of time to decide where he stands. Ethan's heart pounds as Caleb's words from their last meeting echo in his mind. "I don't want to build a lie." The Miami night hums outside, but inside, Ethan feels trapped, torn between his duty to Laura and the undeniable pull toward her son. Caleb's visits have grown more frequent, each one deepening the unspoken tension between them. Ethan, 32, knows he's treading dangerous ground, but he can't stop himself from wanting to understand Caleb, to be the support he needs. Laura's away at a conference, leaving Ethan alone when Caleb shows up, his knock hesitant but insistent. "I needed to talk," Caleb says, his voice raw. Ethan lets him in, the air heavy with anticipation. Caleb paces, his hands fidgeting. "I told a friend about myself," he blurts out. "About who I am." He laughed, called it a phase. His voice cracks, and Ethan's chest tightens. He steps closer, instinct overriding caution. "That's his failure, not yours," Ethan says, his tone firm. Caleb's eyes meet his, searching, vulnerable. The moment stretches, charged with a shared understanding. Caleb steps closer, his breath uneven. "You see me," he whispers. Before Ethan can stop himself, he reaches out, his hand grazing Caleb's arm. The touch sparks something reckless, and Caleb leans in, their lips meeting in a brief, trembling kiss. It's soft, urgent, a confession neither can take back. Ethan pulls away, heart racing, guilt flooding in. "We can't," he says, voice hoarse. Caleb nods, eyes wide with fear and longing, then flees into the night. The next morning, Laura's back, her mood bright until she picks up Ethan's phone to check a message. Her face darkens as she scrolls, finding a text from Caleb. "I'm sorry about last night, thank you for being there." Her voice is ice. "What's this, Ethan?" He stumbles, trying to explain it was just a talk, but Laura's not convinced. "He's my son," she snaps. "What are you doing with him?" The accusation cuts deep, and Ethan's silence betrays him. "I'm not blind," Laura says, her voice breaking. "You've been different since he started coming around." The fight escalates, Laura's words sharp with betrayal. "Are you lying to me? To yourself?" she demands. Ethan can't answer, the truth too raw to admit. He's been hiding his own questions about his identity, burying them under a life that felt safe. Now, with Caleb's kiss burning in his memory, he can't pretend anymore. Laura storms out, leaving Ethan alone with his guilt. He texts Caleb, asking if he's okay, but gets no reply. The silence is deafening, and Ethan knows the fragile balance of their lives has shattered, with no clear path to fix it. The fallout from Laura's discovery hits Ethan like a tidal wave. Her accusation, "What are you doing with him?" replays in his mind, each word a knife. The Miami gym, once his sanctuary, feels suffocating as clients whisper and cancel sessions, rumors of his inappropriate behavior spreading. Ethan, 32, tries to focus on work, but the weight of guilt and exposure crushes him. Laura hasn't spoken to him since the fight, her silence louder than any argument. Caleb, 21, has vanished from Ethan's life, ignoring texts and skipping their usual dinners. Ethan learns through Laura's curt updates that Caleb came out to his college friends, only to face rejection. One called him a freak, others ghosted him entirely. Ethan's heart aches, knowing their kiss, brief, reckless, pushed Caleb to confront his truth, only to be met with cruelty. He wants to reach out, to fix it. But Caleb's last message, "You ruined everything," burns in his memory. Laura's family rallies against Ethan, her brother calling to accuse him of betraying their trust. "You're supposed to be family, not some predator," he snaps. The word stings, twisting Ethan's intentions into something ugly. He tries to explain it was a moment of weakness, not malice, but the call ends with a dial tone. At the gym, a regular client, once friendly, avoids eye contact, muttering about keeping things professional. Ethan feels the walls closing in, his carefully built life unraveling. Desperate for clarity, Ethan drives to Caleb's apartment, hoping to make amends. Caleb answers, his posture guarded, eyes red from sleepless nights. "What do you want?" he asks, voice flat. Ethan hesitates, the weight of their shared moment hanging between them. "I'm sorry," he says. "I never meant to hurt you." Caleb's jaw tightens. "You made me think I could be myself," he says, voice breaking. "Now everyone hates me." Ethan steps forward, instinct urging him to comfort, but Caleb recoils. "Just go." Back home, Laura finally confronts Ethan, her anger softened by exhaustion. "I trusted you," she says, voice trembling. "With him, with us." Ethan admits his struggle, the feelings he's buried for years, the confusion Caleb's presence stirred. "I didn't want this," he says, voice raw. Laura shakes her head, tears falling. "I need time." She leaves, and Ethan's alone, grappling with the cost of his honesty. Caleb's isolation, Laura's pain, his own shame, they're all tangled in a mess he can't untie. He knows he must face his truth, but the path forward feels impossible, with judgment waiting at every turn. Ethan sits alone in the Miami gym after hours, the silence amplifying his guilt. Laura's absence and Caleb's rejection weigh heavily, their lives fractured by a moment of reckless honesty. Ethan, 32, knows he's lost something irreplaceable, but the truth he's been hiding, his own buried identity, demands to be faced. He can't keep running from it. Not after seeing Caleb's pain, not after Laura's broken trust. Caleb, 21, hasn't responded to Ethan's messages, his silence a wall Ethan can't breach. Laura, too, keeps her distance. Her last words, "I need time," echoing in Ethan's mind. The gym, once a refuge, now feels like a stage for judgment, with clients' sidelong glances and whispered rumors cutting deeper each day. Ethan decides he can't fix this by staying still. He needs to act, to offer something real to both Caleb and Laura, even if it means facing more rejection. He tracks Caleb to a small cafe near his college, a place buzzing with students. Caleb sits alone, sketching in his notebook, his posture tense. Ethan approaches, heart pounding. "Can we talk?" he asks. Caleb's eyes narrow, but he nods. "I'm sorry," Ethan starts, voice steady. "I pushed you into something you weren't ready for, but you're not alone." Caleb's expression softens, his voice low. "I thought I could be open, but it cost me everything, friends, family." Ethan leans forward. "You're enough as you are. Don't let them take that." Caleb admits he's found a local support group, a small step toward rebuilding. "I'm scared," he says, "but I want to live my truth." Ethan nods, a flicker of pride cutting through his guilt. "You're stronger than you know," he says. They agree their connection can't continue, it's too tangled in pain, but they part with a shared understanding, a promise to support each other from a distance. Back home, Laura waits, her eyes tired but open. "I've been thinking," she says. "I was angry, but I see you're struggling too." Ethan takes a breath, then tells her everything. His years of hiding his identity, the confusion Caleb stirred, his regret for hurting her. Laura listens, her silence heavy but not unkind. "I don't know if I can stay," she says, "but I don't hate you." It's not forgiveness, but it's a start. A crack of light in their fractured bond. Ethan takes his own step forward, confiding in a close friend at the gym about his truth. The friend listens, then grips his shoulder. "You're still you," he says. Ethan feels a weight lift, the first taste of acceptance. Caleb, too, finds footing, attending his group, his sketches bolder, his smile returning. Both carry scars, but they step into their truths, finding hope in a world that's starting to make room for them. If this story touched you, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell. More stories are coming that will move you, inspire you, and challenge the way you see your own journey. Every story matters, and each one brings us closer to who we are meant to become.